In Land, Robin Wright, in her feature directorial debut, stars as a woman escaping unimaginable grief and loss by living off the grid. I'm Rob Licuria, senior editor at Gold Derby, and I'm here with Academy Award nominee Demian Bichir, who co-stars as Miguel, a local hunter who brings her back from the depths of despair. Demian, this film explores grief and loss in a really compelling and contemplative way. How did that resonate with you when you took on the role and when you were playing Miguel?
First of all, great to see you again, my friend. Um, I, we actors are always looking for uh, this type of chances to explore new, different characters, and uh, and it's really fantastic when it's so relevant. When you find a script that has not only a beautiful, juicy character, uh, but also when the story talks about something so timely and so much needed in these times. Um, I found a very, very uh, generous type of message in it. And in Miguel, a fantastic opportunity to explore different things that I haven't tried before. Uh, I found a very contained type of character, um, very frugal in words and actions and emotions and and these two characters' journey to me was a lot like humanity is. We are that, and this film shows the best of us. When two entirely different human beings meet randomly, and they don't need to know anything about each other. They don't need to ask any questions. They're there for each other, and you do need to be generous in order to give, in order to help, but you have to be extra generous to be open to get that help, to receive that. And to me, the key part of his script is when she asked Miguel, "Why did you help me? Why are you doing this? Because you were in my path. You were in my path, and you were right there." You know what I mean? So how many times we just look away? How many times we, you know, or because I don't do that, I had that chance before. I have stopped many times just to see what's going on with another human being and see if you can help. But a lot of people just dodge their way into a different path. So you don't see that very often, especially over the last 4 years, and
Yeah.
especially over many different situations and issues that we still need to solve as humanity.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the fact that Robin Wright was going to direct this, that this is her first feature as a director, that alone was a fantastic package that you don't find very often.
Yeah, you couldn't say no, I suppose. I think I want to pick up on what you said a little earlier because Miguel shows great compassion and empathy and kindness, seemingly without any ulterior motive. He doesn't want anything. And for a little while, I was wondering, okay, what is he doing? Because we're so used to not putting ourselves in someone else's shoes and just blocking them, right? Are you trying to say that Land, the film, reminds us that it's something aspirational, that we should aspire to maybe be a bit more empathetic with people that we encounter?
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. Most of the time, the way people get involved with somebody else or with different situations that are foreign to yours is only if you're going to get something in exchange. You know, most of the time, people, look into any relationship and they do this crazy math. What am I going to get? What am I going to get from that? And from this, and from that call, and from this meeting, and from that friendship, and from this love, and from that kiss, and from that. I think, and I insist, this film shows the best of us. That you don't need to ask any questions. You're just there because you're human and because you can help, and I just love that. You said that right, because I love that on the script. And when I saw the film, and of course when we shot it, that was something that was fascinating. They keep on moving it, and that's all, Robin's magic in making the whole thing a very, very nice dance
Yeah.
into something that we don't know yet what's gonna, where it's gonna go. And I think it's just beautiful, but because in it there are many different surprises, and there are many different, things that you weren't expected, or you thought the characters would go into certain direction, and then boom, they switch gears very nicely.
Yeah, I loved that. I just never knew where we were going, and we went on this ride, and you bring up Robin Wright, the director. She's directed plenty of TV, and she's very experienced, but she's a very experienced actor. I wonder when you're working with an actor director, particularly when they're starring in the film, what do they bring to the table for you as a performer that is different or special?
Pretty much, actor directors, they know. We actors know. We have like a BS radar. You know what I mean? We know when something is off. And actor directors, they know what actors love and hate. You know what I mean? So it's just a very, very easy way to navigate into that new hat, so to speak. And that's been my experience with, like people like Chris Weitz, who's also an actor, a great actor, by the way,
Yeah.
and Quentin Tarantino, or more recently George Clooney, and that's something that they know what it takes to get the best from you, and
Yeah.
basically is that you have to trust your actor, and some directors don't understand that part, and they just want to move you like puppets, and but if you hire someone, it's because you trust the actor's instincts and experience and talents, and then all you have to do is just boom, provide all the elements that any actor needs to play their best, and that's exactly what these guys do. But they also have that in common with the other heavyweights, like such as Steven Soderbergh, or Ridley Scott, and
Mhm.
many more people. That's how they do it. They just gather the best team possible, the best heads of every department, and
Yeah.
it's just a beauty to see all those artists, in full motion.
Yeah, it is. And you just reminded me of you've done some great work with some really esteemed directors,
Yeah.
and what a dream. And it just reminds me that when you were nominated for the Academy Award in 2011, 2012, um, I remember speaking to you beforehand thinking, this could happen. It may be, it's very difficult to be nominated, but you received it. Can you remember back in the day what that felt like when you finally heard, yeah, you've been nominated, you're one of the five. It's a massive achievement.
It is a massive achievement because look, just take a look at how many fantastic, phenomenal actors are everywhere in the world, not only in the United States. And sometimes we consider the works of other films from other countries, the works of their leading actors, and we had that experience many times with Catalina Sandino Moreno and with Fernanda Montenegro, and many more examples. And I think that's beautiful when that happens. You know what I mean? Because it tells you how many fantastic actors are everywhere, and to name only five, I think that's crazy, and it's so unfair, because there's so many more, and just to be a part of those five names, that alone is just a gift, is a blessing that I cherish very deeply.
Yeah, and it's an obvious thing to say it impacted your career and it impacted your
Yeah.
life, but I mean, personally, how has it really impacted your life? I mean, what changes did you notice after that?
I've been very lucky to have different key moments in my career. Growing up in the theater in Mexico, uh, so many breaking points and fantastic moments that happened to me in my life through my career in Mexico, in the U.S., and And to me, every single one of those key moments, it's like a chance to advance a little more, advance. And I love that feeling. There isn't anything less encouraging than the feeling of nothing is moving.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
This is not going anywhere. And so I think that, but that happens after every work, not only when you get the attention of the academy, like in that in that case, um, but also every time you make a film. Every time I make a film, I think I become a better actor after that. I think I'm a better person. I'm a better human being. I learn a lot from that experience. I learn from my characters. I learn from the people around me, and I have learned so many things, so many great things from my directors also. And uh, and it hasn't been the exception now with Robin Wright. It has been a beautiful, beautiful ride.
yeah. There's something about you as a performer, Demian, when you, like, for example, in Land, it's very non-verbal. You don't say a lot, but there's a lot going on in your face. I find your vulnerability really compelling. And I'm wondering if that is intentional, because you bring that to a lot of your roles. I mean, from Alien to this, for example. Do you know what I mean? Like, even when you're not trying to be vulnerable, there's something about you that feels authentic. What is that, do you think? What's that little secret sauce?
Well, I thank you so much for that, because that's where we're gonna go. We put everything we have into that. That's what we want to achieve, um, to make people feel that something is happening there. Just not only how the character looks or whatever he says, but also what's happening when he's silent, what's happening when he doesn't say a word. And to me, I just love when that happens to me as an audience. When I watch my favorite actors, it's when they don't say anything, when the camera stays there, that it makes me fly. It's just
Yeah,
such a great feeling.
yeah,
So I thank you deeply for saying that, because that's pretty much what we want. I can only say that I try to be truthful to not only the character, but the moment the character is living in that precise instant. Um, and that was one of the things that I love about this character, that is so frugal in words and actions and everything, that he says very little, in order to express himself. He's so present. And
yeah.
and sometimes during the shoot, Robin and I would cut up some lines, like we don't need this, we don't need that, we don't have because sometimes it's too much exposition, and you just need to feel. And sometimes just a small little tiny reaction or a look or something subtle says so much. And but you need a wise director
Yeah.
next to you in order to take certain risks. And I insist, I've been so lucky to have worked with so many great directors that they take that chance with you, they take that risk with you, they believe in you, they trust you, boom, and they jump off the bridge with you.
Yeah, because what have you got to lose? Go there. If it doesn't work, do it again. But
Yeah.
the film for me, without giving away too many spoilers, in case our audience hasn't seen the film yet, the film for me really soars in that scene at the campfire when there's a sunset behind you. Bobby Bukowski, the brilliant cinematographer, is
Wow.
filming you in silhouette, and you're singing together. Everybody wants to rule the world. And it's kind of funny, but also just, I think that's the moment when they connect really. And it's not romantic. I mean, oh, thank God it wasn't romantic. You know what I mean? Talk us back to that moment. It was very effective.
You know, I agree with you that even when I read the script, I for a second thought, this might go into a little romance, and it goes into a big, huge romance. And they don't even have to kiss, they don't even have to hold hands or anything. I think this is the purest form of love that you will find. The way the film is made, is presented. Um, that is a beautiful moment, and the characters have many different beautiful moments. They go through 4 seasons, and you see the change of the weather conditions in every season, and every moment is so beautiful. And I couldn't agree more with you. Bobby Bukowski's work is just spectacular. It is just like so insightful and so soulful, and it's very, very true to what we saw. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it doesn't translate
Mm.
very nicely, from your eyes to the screen. And in this case, it was equally beautiful. What we saw there when we were shooting, and then what you see on the screen. And that song is a very interesting song because I knew it. Pretty much all of us know the tune, but I never really stopped to listen to the words until
Yeah.
I had to learn it by heart.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so fantastic. It's such a great song. And it talks a lot about what's happening in the film. You know what I mean? It talks about this chance of becoming a better you, that, welcome to your life. There's no going back. It's like, this is it. And, in the times where you won't know what to do when the light goes down and all that, I will be right there behind you to hold you. And that is pretty much a beautiful way to express that friendship, that is so such a deep type of love. Because why I say that, because they don't expect anything from each other, and they don't demand anything from each other. They're just there. And when Edie opens her heart and allows Miguel to enter and help her, at that precise moment, Miguel also finds redemption in his own, for
Yeah.
his own journey. And that to me completes the cycle, into a beautiful
Yeah.
solution.
I know. When the film was finished, I listened to the song on Spotify because I was like, yeah, those words, it's like poetry. It's perfect for
It
the
is. It is.
I saved this last question to the end. So this is a bit more spoilery. If anyone hasn't seen the film, go away and watch this later. In the end, we see Miguel, he's unwell, obviously. And to me, that was a bit of a gut punch because I didn't see that coming at all. And I was destroyed when he cries because he's so stoic and everything's pent up inside. He's nonverbal, and then it just all comes out. And it was very moving. Can you talk us through that?
uh, that was a very important moment in the story. Um, Again, without saying anything, with only by saying a few words. Um, that's when everything lands.
Yeah.
Um, that's when this cycle that I was talking about closes beautifully and purely. And then we know what these two human beings have been through, which hasn't been an easy ride at all. And and the fact that Miguel breaks down when he hears her story in such a brief, fashion, um, it's because he knew she's been through a lot, but he never imagined that it had been so painful. And then comparing that to his own pain and sorrow and grief. And to me, that is exactly where this film connects with everybody, because we, at some point, whether it happens in an early stage of your life or later on, but we will experience the loss of a loved one, yes or yes, because that's life and that's how it is. I think the saddest part of these times that we live in is that a lot of people who have lost their lives, and my heart goes to every single family who have lost a loved one to COVID. The vast majority of these deaths have been alone,
Yeah.
completely alone. And just the fact that you won't have a chance to hold your loved one and give it a kiss and say goodbye, that alone is terrible. You know, I think that's the most horrible thing, of the saddest part of this pandemic. And and the fact that these two human beings decide to be there for each other when she doesn't hear or see, Miguel, she goes out there,
Yeah.
into this personal journey to find him, and none of them want, to leave the other one alone. And that's to me a beautiful way to, end, their story. So that's probably why, a lot of people are connecting so deeply with it.
Yeah. She's escaping grief, and then at the end she decides to embrace it and move
Yep.
forward. And that's what we all kind of hope for anyway. But Demian, thank you. Congratulations on a really wonderful performance and great film. And thanks for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, my friend. Be well.
You too.